Hello, hello, hello. How are you? I knew I had to come and see you. I know we're in the beginning of April. I don't know about you, but I feel a bit tired. I know that we've gone into beginning of April, so it's nice new beginnings, but also, you know, we've got that Mercury retrograding with us at the moment. So I'm a bit sluggish today. So I've had a little nap. So I thought, right, I better go and see Capricorn. I think I've forgotten about them. And because that you've given me so much energy, positive energy, I'm here. So hopefully you can hear me well and truly. Now, there's a couple of things. The first thing today was, I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but you know when you're playing basketball or netball, if you're in the UK, right? You kind of do this action, don't you, to protect the ball, to protect yourself from going in the ball and going into anything. So you're doing this all the time, can't you? And I feel that that's what we're doing. We're protecting what's ours for us to go and get, but give us chance. You know, it's like, right, we've got this little stack of things and we're just doing a bit of a, whoa, no, you're not going to get in my goal. So I don't know if it means it's our turn. I don't know if it means we're protecting. I don't know what it is, but it's literally like arms out, like we're playing basketball on defence or netball on defence. So that's what I got first of all. I thought that was very interesting. And I've been thinking about it since I got that. And that was whilst I was driving. And you know what I'm like? I get quite a lot of things for driving. So the next thing that I got was to show and tell. Just like we did in school. Can you show and tell anything that you would want to show and tell us? You know, the Capricorns, the trusted companions, if you like. That's what I'd like to see us as, that you can show and tell something and know that you're not going to be ridiculed, you know, not something just for the sake of it that's going to make you feel worse, you know, to those people like, look at me, look what I've done. And then they go, oh, all right, oh, so what? I'm on about with us, is there a mechanism that we could work out that's a show and tell so we can actually congratulate each other and push forward to the next stage, and surround yourself with people that you have got a nice clear conscience with, that they have as well with you. So there's nothing that's got no history necessarily. So I'm not saying all the time, because obviously we're only in a new year, so we're like little baby steps at the moment, aren't we? You know, it's literally us Capricorns have come out of this massive apocalypse, if I can put a teeth in, and then all of a sudden we've got to find our feet. So, you know, slowly catch a monkey, just like we said last time. But again, can we stick to a routine that's going to work for you? You know, waking up in the morning, you think, right, okay, I don't like doing that as part of my routine no more. I don't like doing this. So for me, it's like, make sure that every morning by a certain time, because obviously I like routine, is wash, do the hair, do the teeth, do 10 sit-ups, put my vitamins inside me, lift a bag of potatoes, you know, just to make sure that my arms are going, because as my arms are going, my brain's still thinking. Make sure my pots are washed before I go to work, because I normally do, but, you know, there's just those odd occasions where you think, I don't want to. And then obviously have something to eat in the morning, because if you and I are working, we're working on an empty stomach. It's not our stomachs that I'm really concerned about at this moment in time. It's our empty brain. And that's going to be one of our most valuable things, isn't it? Particularly in April, if we've got to have a lot of strategies and there's going to be a lot of agreements of different dates, I feel that we've got to make sure that we know what's going on rather than being hoodwinked into something. We've got to be aware, because there's so many things that are springing up, because obviously we're in spring and we're new. We might not want them all at the same time. We might not want them all at all. So it's literally like just so we can feed our brain, not just our belly, even though I love food and I love my belly, but I think that we've just got to make sure that we keep our brain food coming, all right? So, and then maybe doing a bit of an agreement. If I do this and this, and I have some rest and have a little bit of joy, then if I do that and that, I can have some rest and then I can have a bit of a reflection on that. And then if I do that and that, it's a gain and it's inside and out. So I'm gaining something out of it. So it might not happen on the first go, but that particular thing can be stuck to, and then you just keep going at it and until at least 3. You know, like I mentioned last time, 3 times a try, isn't it? If you try and try again. So that's the sort of thing that I'm looking at the moment. So as far as other thoughts is I was thinking about people that join forces and join into the forces that may not look like your typical forces people. And how do they get their stamina? How do they get their grit? Is it because they're competitive that they don't want to be seen as, weakling? I remember joining the Territorial Army when I was 17, and there was a guy there, and obviously at 17 I had hair down to my bum, and I wasn't particularly girly, but I had long hair. I always had long hair, and he was like, I'm going to breeze this. So we all went away for the weekend, and we all had to go assault courses, underneath cargo nets, you name it, get a weapon in the dark. They wake you up in the middle of the night to get a weapon and to take it apart, clean it, and then put it back together, all in the dark. So I did it first. I didn't know I'd done it first until they decided to go stop and switch the light back on. But I was covered in blood. My my stamina and determination still gave me a lot of injuries, shall we say, but I just still did it. So I don't know if that's something that we've got to be thinking about, as when was those days that you did that, because I know that a lot of Capricorns still do it, even though you may be covered in all sorts of cuts and bruises. That determination, is that what they do when they go into the Marines? Is that what they do when they have to go into the SEALs? Is it mind over matter? Is that where we've been through and we're coming out the other side of that it's not necessarily going to have to be in the dark? So that's what my point was on that one. And obviously helping others. I mean, ironically, it was really weird because this guy was really competitive against me, and I wasn't, because I was quite glad to be part of the crew, part of the gang. But he never came back after I won him putting this weapon back together. So it was really weird, because I thought, well, why? I wouldn't have left for the sake of a woman beating me, or a man beating me. I was quite in my head to think, well, he's going to win. He's going to win. We've done the running, we've done the everything else, and he's come out tops compared to me. He's a lot fitter than me. He could run more miles than me. He were fitter than me. But when it came to the final test, he obviously didn't do as well and buckled under the pressure. Really bizarre. I've always wondered about that and why that was, but that's interesting. And maybe that's what we've got to do, is like, well, look back and think about the times that you've done further than you thought. For me, my getting over the winning line would have been just getting everything and just getting a pass mark in my running and getting on my climbing and getting on weapons, changing and all the beds, corners right, and yes sir, no sir, marching. I would have been quite content that I got through the test, not champion the test. Does that make sense? Is that something that you can think about? Give me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And I was frightened of heights for many, 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 many years. So obviously with a sea goat, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? So goats like to climb. And coming down was the worst, because literally you're a little bit more looking down on yourself, and as you're going down, you're like that, aren't you? You're like, oh my God, I'm going to go down. So I got content with knowing that I'm safe, because I protect myself as well as my protection around me from my angels and my ancestors. I am quite logical. I won't take a step unless I know that I can, 50% get there. So I didn't know if that was interesting for you, for being the goats. And I meet new challenges now. I'm not scared of heights, either physically or mentally. Maybe if you took me to a real skyscraper and said jump off, of course I'll probably be scared stiff. But the act of climbing up like a bit of a monkey, which I've done in previous careers, it doesn't bother me, so doing DIY, doing things like that hasn't bothered me, which has been quite a phenomenon for me, because otherwise I wouldn't have got things done. Who did that? So when you've looked back and you thought, well, that was me, can you credit yourself with a lot more small actions, not the big ones all the time? Because if you think about it, when we're putting beans into a charity guess who, how many beans are in this, there's lots of small beans, isn't there? And they make up this big capsule of guess how many beans. So it's like, well, guess how many attributes, guess how many traits we've got, guess how many activities we've managed to get through. And really dig down and do that a lot more, because I think that you need to remind yourself. You don't need anybody else to go, well done, pat on the back, because it don't feel as good, does it? But when you feel it inside and you're really like, boo, I got over that, and it's silently, then I think it's a little bit more interesting. And then, finally, just the songs that I got. Hall of Fame by Script. Your Life Fame, You Did It, and What Would You Put on Your Will? Which is a bit of a sad story, but I thought about that. I thought, well, I'm not bothered about the fame. I want to know that I can leave a legacy that people didn't know about me. Did you know that she did this? Did you know that she did that? Oh, right, okay, that means I could have a go, isn't it? Anybody that's coming after me that's a bit scared of things, it's like, well, in that box, there's a story about when she did this, and that might give you a bit of courage. That might be nice to leave. Then Talking About a Revolution then came on by Tracy Chapman, very interesting. And then the last one was Stop and Stare by One Republic. So I've listened to both of these lyrics and I've enjoyed both of them, and it's like, yeah, you know, the everyday people, the people that don't normally get talked about is getting talked about. So hopefully you found that a little bit interesting. I ramble on. So we're now in the April, so happy new month to you. And obviously the first part of this is the springtime. It's very important to us. We've got a lot of things buzzing around our heads. What can we do first? Who's going to do what first? How we're going to do that, etc. But also, I do believe that we've got to give grace to other people going through the same thing. If you think about it, you know, if I'm sat here and I'm saying to you I'm quite exhausted today, and not for any work, because I've not worked today, but is other people feeling the same? Sorry, it dropped. Could it be the same reason? You know, is it the moon cycles? Because I know my body definitely goes with the moon cycles. Yesterday, interestingly, when I was travelling to my mum, because I haven't seen her for a month, and I thought, right, I want to go and see my mama. And I wasn't caught in it, but there was a massive, really, really interesting lightning storm. Black clouds that I was driving into, and they were really, really black. There was loads of lightning, no rain. Loads of lightning. Never been through it, a bit spooky. Never been through that before, but with no rain. But loads of lightning. No noise, as far as I knew. Obviously, being in my car, I probably won't be able to tell if it was 20, 30 miles away, but I could see it. And I thought, I have never done that. And here I am. And I thought, we're going into the eye of the storm. We're going into the eye of it. I'm literally driving straight into it. It's not frightening me at all. It's interesting. Let's go into the eye of the storm. Very strange, isn't it? You know, how our body and our brains tick and what we think at the moment in time. That split second we could be thinking about anything, and all of a sudden we go into a philosophical kind of approach, maybe. You know, a reason behind it that is interesting. Right, so that's all those cards, and I'm going to give you a show. All right. So underneath the deck, we have got communication. So we've got the Eight of Wands. There we are. Woo! There's circles of light are following me. I'll go a bit back. Eight of Wands, this is. So the Eight of Wands is usually regarding communication, fast communication. So as I said to you, maybe we're feeling a bit restless, so that's why we're tired. And these communications are going to want us to make some decisions. Now, you and I know we don't have to make those decisions. You know, only because somebody says right there and then, it's like, sorry, you're not ready for it yet. Let me just do a little bit more research. That's my favourite line. I'll just do a little bit more research. I'll be right back. So it could mean that we've got good messages and we've got a stop in delay. So I do think we're going to be busy. I really do think we're going to be busy in April. I think it's slowly. It's like I'm doing Jaws music, so there's a reason for that. It's like and off we go. We may be doing it like that. I really don't know, but we are cutting out the crap. Sorry, anybody that's cross-watching, because as you know, this is what I want to do for Capricorn. Not because I want everybody to feel left out at all, but because I am really a true Capricorn. I cannot talk for other signs as well. So this is why I decided to do it this way. Not to ostracise whatsoever. By all means, join in as long as you kind of consider it to everybody else. But primarily, I'm doing this for Capricorns because of the Pluto aspect. We've coming out of it, but again, we're still like catchy, slowly catch a monkey, all right? So don't pick on us right now, and don't pick on me right now, all right? Because that's my conditions of what I've decided to do. So King of Swords, we're going to have a bit more control and truth. So as I said, when we get in the Eight of Wands, yes, we've got all these decisions that's coming in, this fast action, which is wonderful, because we do like a little bit of like pressure to make decisions. We like pressure to make some decisions because we know that we're a bit more clear-headed, but also we can cut the crap. We know what is good and what is bad. So if somebody says, I'm going to give you a lollipop, and it's like, yeah, what's behind it? What do you want? You know, I know that sounds quite cynical, but we have got to ask that question. Where before, because of being polite, we don't ask that question. What's behind that lollipop, please? We have to say it nastily. Why? Because I want to. Brilliant. Okay, that's great. I'm going to note it down in my diary. You gave me this for no reason at all. There's my contract that I've wrote for myself. And then if it ever comes back that they say, well, I did buy you a lollipop. It's like, well, this day you said it was for no reason, just because. Because that's where I've become unstuck with excitement. It's like, I want to know that it's no expectations on the back of it. If there is, then I'll pay for it. Or if there's a bartering to be done, you do this and I do that, fine, but it's negotiated. Because we are looking, here we go, we are looking, we had this, didn't we? Two of Wands there, got the world in his hand, and it's not necessarily that we want to conquer the world. Wouldn't mind seeing it though, would you? Let's go and see the world together, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Let's go and see different cultures and how they get around things and how they discover new things in life. Like fruit, I've been looking into fruit on the internet recently, all the different kinds of fruit that I've never seen, never tasted. It looks very, very unusual, but I wouldn't mind having a taste of that. So again, it's not necessarily this is like what's next on your career or what's next in our living accommodation. For me, it's like nicely, what else can we be planning that is a nice desire, nice something to have, rather than it always being work created or work dominated. Because then our initiative's going to kick in. We've got the Page of Wands. So we've got 2 wands out already. Now, what does the Page of Wands remind me of? Well, it reminds me of myself when I was younger. Is that if I went somewhere and I wanted maybe to get a job, if we're going to talk about that, I would say, yeah, I want to work for you and I've got the skills. And they go, no, I'm sorry, you haven't. Bang, closes the door. Well, now we're not in that position, have we? We've got the skills, we've got the experience, and we've got more experience than we actually are aware of. And we can be very flexible like a chameleon, and we can be quite dynamic. So even though we may look like we're a page in that arena, by it we're not. So what is that saying? Seeing is believing. You know, it's like I'll see you, what you can do. And if somebody's willing to give you that chance, that's wonderful. But yeah, it may look like a page from the outside, but we're not. You know, there's too much going on here, and in that body that's had to be taking it on behalf of other people, family, friends, colleagues. So even though the page is there, showing up, I'm not a page and neither are you. If we've got somebody that's a page coming in, are they the same as you? Are they looking like a page, but they're really not? Because let's be honest, we don't want to express and tell and show and tell straight away unless we're in our trusted companionship. So interesting, because we're putting a death to those days when we was a little bit like, I ain't got this, I ain't got that, I ain't got this. Yeah, you and I can learn new skills any day, but is it worth keep putting more skills and attributes into our bag without going back into our bag and tweaking them a little bit, or binning the ones that we don't want anymore? I mean, we don't want to carry all of them, do we? So can we put a death to those, something? You know, it's like that death's there for a reason. It's scorpionic energy. New beginnings. It's a lovely, lovely card to think, okay, we are choosing. We're not being told to. We're following the, Page of Wands. And we've got Death, because our next card is, then comes in again, like we had last time, an offer. Oh, did you hear my elbow crack then? bit more calcium needed. So we're in silence with this offer. We've got something that's coming out, maybe out of the universe, so that could be amazing. And if we hadn't said no to certain things that, well, I've got to do that and that still, or, I'm not doing that unless you pay me for this, this and this and this, you're going to tell people about that in future. You're not just going to say, well, in the job description, it's got 15 descriptions of what this job is. Now tell me the real truth. Tell me what else does it entail, and will I get compensated for that? Do I get days off in lieu? Do I have extra pay? What perks do I get? Because we're not all about the money all the time. We need something that makes us feel that exchange of something is working for us, whatever that may be. And we evolve with that, because some years you might think, yeah, that was just spot on and I felt really good with that. But then in the following year, life circumstances change. You may want something different. Like for me, I work at a job that I will work really, really hard for 3 days a week. But because I've got DIY projects going on and I have to do them, I can't concentrate, and I haven't got a body no more that can do everything. It just won't hack it. All right, so I have to be real. It's tight. It's not comfortable on 3 days a week, even though they're 12-hour shifts. It's not comfortable for me financially, but it's better than the alternative. So, I put a death to the mentality of, well, you shouldn't really be doing that job. You should be doing this, this, and this. It's like, yeah, I can go back to that when I want to. But right now, I have to do this because it's the only way that I can get my living quarters livable properly. Alrighty? So we may have offers. Again, remember what I said about chiselling. Might have to chisel some of those offers. But we are going to be emotionally fulfilled. We have got that emotional tap-in that even though we may not show it because we like to do a bit of a poker face at times, don't we? Well, this pleases me. And inside we're really going, punch, punch, punch. We're so giddy. We're so happy. But inside we're like, well, that's very good. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that poker face might still be not showing that we've got some emotional fulfillment somewhere, but we have, and you can feel it bubbling up inside of you. And I think that's what is all about, this springness. We're ready to go inside ourselves. It's like our emotional fulfillment is more out there than we've ever had before, because we haven't got this Pluto hanging over us. We haven't got yesterday's emotions hanging over us. We've got new emotions that are there. We've got new deep thinking. We've got conversations that we're willing to have now, rather than bottle it and keep it all inside. We're willing to say to a mate, when you went through that particular phase, how did it make you feel? Was it like this? And listening to what they think, and it's like, I felt that. I wish I'd talked to you about it earlier. So, that's really a good thing, because that's an asset again. It's that communication, that opening up of that beautiful bond. Because then we're going to celebrate, guys. Celebrate. We're going to do those partnerships together, and we're going to clink those glasses together. We're going to celebrate. We're going to have something to celebrate. Cool. Now, sometimes we've got no one to celebrate with. But we have got those angels around us, as I mentioned last time. We have got those ancestors that are around us. It's not necessarily that we have to have a physical body with us all the time. I celebrate in the most weirdest way. I mean, usually it's by music and having a little bit of a boogie. But I like to celebrate with a complete stranger. It's like, I'm having a good day. I must look really weird going down the street, but if I've got my earplugs in and I'm walking down, yeah, this is cooler than what I would normally walk down. When I walk down, I'm like that really, really quite fast, actually. But, I don't mind saying to a stranger, I'm having a good day, are you having a good day? And you'd be surprised that they daren't say anything bad. It's like, yeah, my day's good. It's like an addiction. It catches, because we're out of that hermit mode. We've still got a nice little beautiful lantern of being in Virgo mode. We got it. We're upside down now though, because it says that we're in isolation. It says that we're in self-deception and all that kind of stuff on the card, because we have gone like this, then we've gone like that, and now we've gone underneath. I don't think we're in self-deception. I think what we are doing is saying, what are we going to do about it and when? And as soon as you get out into that mode of just one thing, you and I can have lists, and we all all have lists, don't we? Bless us. Bless our little cotton socks about our lists. But if we've got a list, pick one. Even if it has to be with a pin in it with your eyes closed. Pick one and stick to it. Like, I know today already I've done 4 jobs that was not on my agenda. Talk about being naughty. But they were for the better of somebody else's mental well-being, okay? So I did them, and it's like I will finish them later on tonight. But at the moment, I didn't have no energy after being in that energy. And I thought, right, they need that sorting out because they're going into anxiety. They need that sorting out. They need that sorting out. I can do them, and then I can do the rest later. But, you know, I shone my lantern as bright as I want. I came home and retreated a bit, and I had a snooze. And you feel isolated. You know, I'm not withdrawing in a negative sense. I'm withdrawing in a positive sense that right now I'm no good to anybody if I haven't got any energy. So, you know, if we keep turning around and that keeps coming up, which it has done, and it keeps coming up and it keeps going round and round and round, so be it. Because that is the moment. And I'm living in the moment. Because we're going to be there, guys. And we've got some action coming in. Woohoo! We've got the Star and we've got the Knight of Wands. Now, if that's your energy going, yeah, that's great. Because if it's in a flash in the pan, it's only because that's the only thing you can manage right now. Do not chastise yourself for that. If you only feel that you're going to have enough energy for a night, and it's going to be a Knight of Wands energy, in and out, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, take it. Take it. As long as nobody's using you and nobody's abusing you, but you've got that energy yourself and you're going, I've got some energy, doing that, coming out, I've gone. Do it. Because it's better to have done something with all that energy rather than thinking then the next day, I had all that energy and I wasted it. So stop yourself from doing that. Stop self-sabotaging that when you've got a bunch of energy and your bum's going ready, get yourself in gear and say, right, I've got energy today, I might not have energy tomorrow, I'm going to do something about it. Because that's what's going to keep building to make sure that you are grounded and you've got the emotional side and you are the star. You're shining. You're shining for yourself. It's like, oh, she was tired yesterday, but she should come out guns a-blazing today, or he's come out guns a-blazing today, ready to go. Wow. Not predictable whatsoever. Don't know what energy she's coming in or he's coming in next. Now, I like this because we've got imagination. Because if you think about our imagination, so many things that we think about in a day that we've been. We're just like, no. Which would be great for somebody else, but not necessarily for you. Yeah? So hopefully you just say, thank you for that idea and that imagination. Can you please pass that on to the next person? I've stopping to waste them. I've actually asked, can you send that on to somebody else who needs it? Because you've hit me instead. I suppose it's like when you go shopping and you're going to go and make some gifts and they're all boxed up and wrapped up already. And you all sit around in a nice big circle and you exchange gifts and you go, oh, sorry, that was up for you. It's not offensive, is it? It's like, oh, that's actually for me. Why can't we do that? Say, oh, that's the sort of thing that I would like. It's like, oh, right, yeah, I don't really want it. You can have that. And then you see something that's going to fit perfectly and you go, oh, yeah, I think that was for you, not really for me. Big ask, but little tiny bits, and that's just all it is that I'm mentioning, is in our mind, little tiny bits of imagination, of ideas. Oh, sorry, that's not for me, angels. Can you send that to somebody else who does need it? Let me just do a quick clarifying of 3. I'm coming back later on in the week, so I'm not going to rush everything today because you're going to see me for a long while. I just wanted to make sure that we talked about the beginning of April. What energies you feel like? What energies you feel that you want to try and kickstart? Do you want to manifest anything? I think that sitting with yourself and being that hermit mode may be a good thing, but also not forgetting that we're going to have some energies. Don't waste it. Please don't waste it. Oh gosh, can't predict it, can you? What do we get? Yeah, don't waste it because we've got some magic to make. We're in the magician mode. We're in Aries, which is beautiful, isn't it? Because that's where we're at. Aries season. We're Emperor. We're making some magic. We're in charge. And people in charge you automatically assume are those that are really quite dictatorial. Yeah? No, we're not. We don't need to be dictatorial because we know our own selves. We're quite comfortable in our own skins, aren't we? We don't need to be that, you will do this right now, unless somebody's really bad, you know. But you don't need to, because you are actually that emperor. You are manifesting. We are manifesting. We're making that magic. We're tweaking. Our wishes will come as long as we know that we can focus on them and say more often, not that, thank you, can we chisel a bit more off that? Because if I keep sending you bacon, eggs and chips, which is typical kind of meal in the UK, and you don't like your bacon well done, and I keep sending it to you well done, you're going to get a little bit peeved with me. But also, if you don't tell me, then I'm not going to start doing it differently for you, am I? If you like your eggs that are all scrambled together and loads of yolk with a white, and you don't like it that way, you like it with a nice little yolk that you can dip in some soldiers, some toast into it, then, you know, you're going to tell me that. Keep chiseling away at that specific magic that you are bringing in that emperor mode, in that I'm standing here and I don't have to apologise for everything that I want to chisel. It's not quite right yet. Because I'm working towards it. I'm not lazy. I'm using that fire if I have to, even if it's one day out of 4. I'm still using it. Anybody that comes along as well, it's like, grateful, thank you. You've got energy today, brilliant. Can I tap into that? Because you know how quickly it is. You know, if somebody's got energy, you're like, oh, energy, give it me. All right? More of a clarifier. Clarifying the clarifying. 3 of Pentacles again. Stop being in hangman mode. I like this hangman mode because I think it's very, very useful, but I don't think it's going to be very useful for April. I think it's April of, yeah, okay, we're only in the beginning at the moment. I think we've got to slowly roll up those sleeves, get our hands dirty, get in there and get it done. Does that make sense? Comment below, tell me more about you, tell me more about what your thoughts are with what I'm putting out on the videos. I have got a few more pages coming out as well for the book. That'll be later on as well. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful, wonderful, thoughtful, calm evening or day. And as I say, I love the energy coming from Capricorns, even on other tarot readings. Look in the description box. They're the tarot card readers that I listen to, and I am very grateful to them over the years. So hopefully you will listen to them too. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.